Ladies and gentlemen, it's time at long last for the thrilling conclusion of this epic series. We've heard from some really cool nerds and a few not as cool but still pretty cool nerds, and one real dud that I won't mention by name, but we all know who it is. But it's time today for the grand finale of
Tag Your It.
Who's it gonna be?
I'm tagging you, TechDweeb.
Ah, crap. Hey there, how you doing? I'm TechDweeb, welcome. Thanks for clicking on the video today. I've been tagged, finally. I've been watching the series this whole time and I've been like, oh, I can't wait till it's my turn. But I had to be at the end. It's just the way it had to go. It had to end with me, as all things do. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Tag Your It is a challenge series. This was put together by my boy Too Loud Tech. This is his baby. I'm just the flopping hands that acted as the glue to hold it together. I always wanted to be glue. The idea is that a creator will cover the topic and say their part, and then they'll tag someone else, and then they'll have to make a video, and on it goes. Where it stops, nobody knows. Actually, we do know. It stops on me. My turn is the end. The topic is, what is your top 5 favorite Android games? Check the links in the thingy below if you want to see everyone else's answers. I've been thinking about what I'm going to say, and it's kind of hard to answer for me. I mean, in this community, when we think of Android games, we're usually talking about games to play on our Android handhelds. But all the games I like to play best on Android handhelds are either retro game emulators or they're bigger games that I also have on PC. And if I have a choice of playing a game on my Steam Deck versus my RP5, I'm going to be picking the Steam Deck for most games like that, because then I'm working on my Steam achievements and my cloud save is synced between all my PCs. Plus, I already own all these games on Steam, so I'm not going to buy them on a different platform, you know. On retro handhelds, I'm going to be doing emulation, and I don't think RetroArch is a good answer for me to give for the challenge. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you my top 5 games that I play on my phone, because these are truly Android games for me. When I think of the Android games I like, the ones I play on my phone are what comes to my mind. That's the true Android gaming experience for me, if that makes sense. Yes, it does. These are in no specific order, however, I did save my favorite for last, because I like to be dramatic like that. Don't worry, the rest of them are frickin' bangers too. Starting with, those who know me well know 2 things. 1, I used to think quicksand would be a bigger problem in my life, so I spent years researching and training what to do if I ever get stuck, but I'm over 40 and it hasn't happened yet, and I'm kind of feeling like I wasted a good chunk of my life. And 2, I love me some pinball. I am nuts about pinball. I'll take it any way I can get it. And playing pinball on the go is such a good fit. Since the games are usually pretty quick and mindless, and playing on a phone is also a good fit because those games make more sense on a vertical screen. I own all the pinball games on PC, and I have tons of DLC tables. Seriously, I have like over 100 tables on Pinball FX and Pinball Arcade and Zaccaria Pinball. And there is really good Android pinball versions of Pinball FX and Williams Pinball, but like I'm not gonna rebuy my content on Android just to play on my phone. So I tried all the best pinball games on Android, and the one I settled on is Pinball Deluxe Reloaded. It's not like a 3D and realistic flashy graphics pinball like Pinball FX, but that's actually a good thing for a mobile game, to be more lightweight. Pinball Deluxe is a 2D pinball game, and it reminds me of those old 2D pinball games like Pinball Dreams on the PC. However, the pinball experience is totally legit. It feels like real pinball. As soon as I tried this, I instantly fell in love, and I just bought all the DLC right then and there. It's like $10 for the whole game, and there's like 10 tables, I think, so it's about $1 a table. Yeah, there's not a lot to say, really. It's just good, tight, super satisfying pinball. The tables aren't modeled after real pinball tables. They're all unique to this game, and they're all really good tables. No crazy, weird, over-the-top mechanics like you get in Pinball FX. No characters stomping around on the board or balls catching on fire or whatever. The pinball physics are spot on, and the sounds are punchy and satisfying. Each table is nice and different, and I love the table themes. You got sci-fi and carnival and Wild West and underwater, that kind of thing. And the actual game is great because you can just play the tables normally, or you can do challenges and unlock power-ups or whatever. There's lots here to explore and do, but honestly, I just like the normal mode, playing a good old game of pinball. If you haven't heard of Reigns, I would feel sorry for you, but you're watching this video and you know about it now, so I actually feel happy for you. This game is just so cool and unique and exactly the kind of game I like on mobile. This game is a combination of the storytelling and decision making of a game like Crusader Kings, which is one of my favorite games ever, and the swipe left or right vibe of Tinder, which is an app that I haven't used because I'm scared of real girls. That's the basics right there. You are a king and your subjects or counselors will come to you with scenarios that they need your decision on. There might be trouble amongst the common folk. There might be war brewing with the kingdom to the east. There might be some fabled gold rumored to be deep in a cave, and you have to be the one to decide and to say yay or nay by swiping left or right. But here's the thing. There's these gauges up at the top, and those represent the powers of your realm. The church and the people and the military and the treasury. Your goal is to keep the realm balanced, and when a decision comes along, you can sort of half swipe either way to get a hint about how it's going to affect the various factions, but you don't know if it's going to go up or down. Sometimes it's obvious, like if you need to decide to distribute food to the common folk, you can be pretty sure that the people are going to be happy, but your treasury is going to suffer. But it's not always clear, and your decisions can have unexpected consequences. If you can keep the peace, you will reign for many years and eventually die old and fulfilled. But usually it ends with you messing up and having your head chopped off by one faction or another. And then when you die, you become your heir and a new reign begins. Also, the game changes as you play. These cards that represent scenarios are actually like little stories, and discovering different outcomes that you haven't seen yet can unlock new paths, and the game grows and gets bigger and more interesting the more you play. There's also two other versions, Reigns Her Majesty, which is where you play as a queen instead of a king, and Reigns Game of Thrones. That's my favorite one. However, the one I want to show you is the one that I keep going back to, and it's the best place to start, the original Reigns. I can't recommend it enough. This next game is actually a port of an old DOS game, so I don't know if this is more of a retro game or if you should count it as an Android game. This is Fheroes 2, which is a port of Heroes of Might and Magic 2 that makes it work natively on modern devices. And it brings along a whole heck ton of quality of life features like widescreen resolutions, touchscreen and controller support, and all sorts of little improvements and graphics updates and quality of life features. I am nuts about Heroes of Might and Magic 2. We did this game last month on the Dusty Game Society, and I even made a full video review of it. Check that video out if you want to know what makes Heroes of Might and Magic 2 so great, but I'll give you the short version today. This is like a forever game for me. I've been playing this since I was a teenager, and I've played it off and on my whole life, and I still fire this up all the time. It's the kind of game I can just play and never get bored of. It's part role-playing game, part strategy game, and part fantasy chess. You are a king, and you recruit heroes to venture forth and explore the realm. You'll be building structures and upgrading your settlements, training units and creating armies, finding things like buildings that'll give you resources and treasures, the little fun scenarios and stories out there in the world, and you'll get into lots of fights. The battles are turn-based on a grid, and each unit moves differently, has different attacks and strengths and weaknesses. Your hero also has magic, and they gain experience and level up and learn new skills and spells and find artifacts and items. You can ride around on your horse or sail ships, and you can have multiple heroes and multiple armies moving all at once. The game has a story mode where you'll go through the game chapter by chapter in these predefined scenarios, or you can play custom scenarios where you load up one of the scads and scads of maps and set it up with parameters that sound fun, and just start playing and see how it plays out. I can just play this game endlessly, and having it on my phone is such a good fit for this style of game. There's lots of ways to play this classic, but playing Fheroes 2 is probably the best way, and that makes it a banger of an Android game. This next game isn't actually just one game. It's like 90 games. It's called Two-Player Games The Challenge, and it is what it claims. Two-player games. These are all games you can play with two players. Actually, that's a lie. There's a few single-player ones, and most of the two-player ones you can play against the computer, so you don't need a second player to enjoy the app. But if you have a second player, this one is just so good for killing some time. I love playing these kinds of games with kids and friends and family. I'll play ping pong with my little cousins. I'll play Cannon Duel with my buddy. I'll play some chess with my old uncle. I mean, your phone's always in your pocket, so why wouldn't you want to have almost 100 fun two-player games at your disposal all the time? and also play them all the time. There's a ton of variety in the collection. You got some classic games like old board games and card games that have been recreated. I really like the ones that mimic dexterity games like air hockey or ping pong. Anything with physics, that's my jam. But if that's not your jam, there's going to be something here that you love. There's so much. Obviously, with so many games, you're going to discover some that will be your favorites. But then again, picking random games you haven't tried to discover new favorites is also fun. And I should mention that this company has another app called 1, 2, 3, 4 player games, which is like the same sort of thing, but games for 4 people. I don't know how well that would work. 4 people playing on the same phone might be a little cramped, but I'm sure it's fine if the games are simple. And if you have a tablet, that would be a good fit. And they also make a game called Offline Games, which is also what it sounds like. It's a collection of games that you can play totally offline with no internet needed. 2-player games is a must-have game collection for everyone, really. Simple, old-school fun games. Considering the state of the Android game landscape, this kind of game is a breath of fresh air for me. This isn't just one of my favorite Android games. This is one of my favorite games, like ever. Story time. About 14 years ago, I was going through a rough patch. We were between homes and my mom was between jobs and I was barely making any money. We were renting a tiny basement apartment in a new city. I didn't know where we'd be living in the long run and everything felt uncertain. Mom was out working during the day and I was just home by myself and it was kind of in a dark place. And then I won an iPad in an art contest. This was my first tablet. I didn't even have a smartphone at the time and I started exploring iOS games and I found King of Dragon Pass. And I got it and tried it, and I almost immediately became obsessed. This weird little game became a bright spot in my life. And it was so immersive and fascinating, it sucked me in, and it's not a stretch to say that this game got me through a rough time. And I have nostalgia for it for that, but the reason I'm showing it to you is because the game is so good, and it still holds up. This game is deep and weird and wonderful in a way that you rarely see anymore. At its core, King of Dragon Pass is a management sim game. You're running a tribe, I guess. You're a leader of a settlement and you have to make all these decisions about how your people live and survive and thrive in this weird, magical, ancient fantasy world. You're deciding how many cattle to sacrifice to the gods, whether to raid your neighbors, how to deal with ghosts that are haunting the barley fields, and whether or not to marry your noble daughter off to form an alliance with the weirdos over the mountain pass. But it's not just menus and numbers. Every decision is wrapped in this absolutely beautiful writing. This game is almost half book. It's all told through these little story vignettes full of lore and charm, and the vibe is like a tabletop RPG mixed with a history book written by wizards. You'll grow to know your advisors, all who have different personalities and backstories. Some of them are wise, some are jerks, some are deeply suspicious of ducks. It's not a joke. Duck people are in this game. It's awesome. And every choice you make has consequences. Sometimes immediate, sometimes years later. You'll be like, sure, let's build a shrine to the cow goddess. And then 15 years later, there's a cow cult uprising and your chief priest has hooves now. It's that kind of game. Also, it's hard. You're gonna mess up. Your tribe will starve. Your warriors will get slaughtered in a dumb raid you started because you thought you were tough enough. Your magic rituals will backfire and summon angry gods who smite you for your hubris. It feels like a living, breathing world where things go wrong and you learn and you try again. There's nothing else like this, and I truly mean that. It's not just a unique game. It's a unique experience that you really can't find anywhere else. And the Android version is perfect. You can play a few events while you're standing in line, or you can lose 6 hours of your life managing barley harvests and sending emissaries to the Duck Lords. So yeah, this game means a lot to me. It's not flashy and it's not fast-paced. It doesn't look exciting, but it's one of the richest, most engaging games I've ever played. And I'm gonna keep playing this until my tribe finally ascends to godhood, or gets destroyed by angry cows. Again. And that's it. That's the top 5 Android games that I chose for you. 5 of my favorites that are fit for dweebs and non-dweebs alike. I hope you'll enjoy checking some of them out. And if not, then that's fine. I don't care what you do. I'm not your barista. But now it's your turn. Tag, you're it. You've heard all of our favorite Android games, so let's hear yours. What do you like to play on your Android handhelds or your phone or your tablet or your Android-based smart toaster? Let us know in the comments. I would like to thank Too Loud Tech for putting this series together. I've loved watching the videos and hearing everyone's answer, and I can't wait for the next season. Oh, and Too Loud Tech, if you need a suggestion for a topic. What about top 5 reasons you love TechDweeb so much? I'm sure everyone would love to share their thoughts about that, right?